In this video, we're going to take a look at branding guidelines and how that might apply to your instructional content that you are creating with Domino 1. And it doesn't matter whether you are in Claro, the fixed pixel authoring environment that is similar to working in PowerPoint, or if you're working inside of Flow, which is the truly responsive environment for creating instructional content that works on all different sized devices. So what we're looking at here is I've just done a quick screen capture from a fairly standard branding guideline that you might get from a marketing department. A lot of times marketing departments will create these specifically for print, how logos are going to be used, with all the details of how that logo might be applied to a shirt or to a PDF file or on a banner for a conference, things like that. A lot of it has to do with print. And if you're going to be creating marketing handouts, marketing collateral, things like that, these branding guidelines will often cover the details of how all of that works. And in some cases, and this should be fairly common, you should also get guidelines for web content, for what the website should look like, right? How the headers should look, what kind of spacing, all that kind of stuff. The point being that somebody somewhere has likely created a standard of some sort or already made some design decisions for you. Now, yes, that does take the fun out of our jobs, but it also makes our jobs a lot easier if these exist, because these have already been approved by the higher ups to be the consistent look and feel that they want to have for their brand, whether you're working internally and you have access to this document, or whether you are an external consultant and you've either requested this sort of document or it was given to you and someone said, hey, be sure you follow these guidelines. So like I said, this particular one, obviously you can tell was meant for print. It uses Pantone color codes. It uses points instead of pixels for the font, things like that. But don't fear, doesn't mean you can't use it. There are plenty of conversion tools out there that allow you to very, very quickly convert any Pantone color into a hex code, which is what you're going to be using. And points can very quickly be converted into pixels. And so you'll notice here they give you a range of for this particular title, so 48 to 72. So they give you a little bit of flexibility to work with. So you don't have to be perfect with this, but getting it close in relation to the other elements is the most important part of it. So if you're going to drop, if their max is 72 for the title, and their max is 36 for header 1, if you decide, you know what, for the title, it's looking too big on my instructional online content, I'm going to drop that down to 52. Then be sure to drop all of the other ones to that same ratio down. So 36 you might drop then down to 20, 26 maybe, something like that. You have a bit more of a spread up here for the title than you do for the header. So at this point, you can pretty much go with just what looks good, but just, be aware of the relationship between the different elements that the marketing person has spent a lot of time working towards. So respect their work and respect that they've done all this work for you, and apply it, but use it as a guideline and not as a rule. Here is how I would apply these inside of a project inside of Flow. What we're looking at here is a project that has 2 learning objects that I've created. It's a 1 module project, and page 1, or the first learning object, I've decided to just show you what it's going to look like with the theme only. And so this particular page has the theme styles applied So here's what the H1 would look like in this theme here. So H1, and then H2 is going to look like this. And then the body text, of course, from the theme is going to look like that. And what you're going to do when you look down here, if you go to the next learning object where I'm showing off just applying their project styles, is that you're going to see here's their what they call header 1, right? I'll go ahead and bring that back up. So header 1 and then header 2, header 3, and the body. What we're going to do is we're going to create header 3. One thing that I did not do here, I did not accurately follow their guidelines, and maybe you noticed this, but they did say to use all caps. There, we'll do something like that. And same for header 2. So we will call this page subtitle header 2. Now what we're going to do, let me just take you back one step and show you why understanding these two different elements is important. The difference between the theme style that you select and then adding project styles on top of that. So one thing that we'll start off looking at that we did not do, well, this one is done by default. But if we look at this and we see that this particular format is actually in this template is the title, what a title size would look like and whatnot from your theme. And then this particular field is your subtitle. So, and then of course, I'm calling this page title and page subtitle just for lack of a better term to get some text there, which could still be used the same, but it's different in that we're going to use the H1 theme and the H2 theme for this page. So strictly speaking, we're looking at the project, and if we are to look at the themes here, if we click on this and click edit variant, we can look inside of our theme from our theme designer and see all of the different things that we can do. So first off, your heading, your H1, your H2, your H3, your H4, those are all designed for you. So really, when you select your colors in your theme and when you select your font type or your main font for your project, then you will see that you can't make any changes to what heading 1, heading 2, and heading 3 is. These are all in there by default. Now, that's going to cause a problem for us because they've told us that they want all of these different changes for a header 1, header 2, and a header 3. So we want different colors for each. We want different sizes, which the default in the theme is already chosen for you. You can even see right here that they gradually get smaller as you go down. But we need something that's a little bit more customized because they've chosen 2 different fonts to use. They've chosen some different colors and also different sizes to use. So let's start with the fonts and take a look at that. And you'll notice what I just clicked on up here. So we've got the DynPro Condensed Black, and we saw that right here. So DynPro Condensed Black is for the title. DynPro Condensed Black is for header 1 as well. And then Roboto Medium and Roboto Medium for header 2 and header 3. So we've got that and we're good to go. The only other element we need to take a look at is the body text. And they define that for us as well, which is really nice. So we know it's the gray, the Pantone Cool Gray 11, and the max is the 12-point font. And lucky for us, 12 points actually converts specifically to 16 pixels, which is exactly what the default is inside of the theme here. So 16 pixels for your font or your type size. So you can leave that the way it is. And if you'd like to size up or size down the text when you go down to mobile devices, you can adjust that here, but we're not going to mess with that today. So we've got our Roboto light, and we've gone ahead and we've set it as the base, and that's what's going to give us this base font that will be used in all of these different theme headings that we're going to use. And so, and also the title and the subtitle. So these different elements that are already built into the theme already have a look and feel that are the kinds of things that you can't change that when you select them, unless you select one of the color changes in the style area. So certain things you can adjust in the theme, certain things you can't. And then that's where your project styles come in, which is what we'll get to. So you always have to start here with your fonts. If they've got custom fonts that they want you to use, then go ahead and start off by adding them here first, because you're going to need to apply them to your styles. So once you import them into the theme designer and add them to your instance of dominKnow in this particular project, then you are good to go. So I'm just going to click done here. We're going to click save, and just know that, okay, this is great. Our title is using everything that we want in the theme. Our page is using the H1 themes and whatnot that they need to, if we were going to just use the theme. And this is what you would use. So, and then again, here's the title and here's the subtitle. Now, we've already taken a look at this. So let's go down here now and adding the project styles. One of the things that we should do probably is create a title, because this will be the title of our, obviously of the project. We're using it currently as the title for this particular learning object. But as we can see from our guidelines, if we're going to have a title of sorts, that they encourage us to use this at the highest level. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and we'll notice right off the bat that we can't create that in our themes. We can't necessarily make that change. So what we want to do is go ahead and add a style. And if we go ahead and select our styles, you notice I've already created a header 1 and a header 2. And what we need is a title, and then we'll go ahead and change heading 3. So if we go into Edit Styles and click Add, that gives us a new style down at the bottom here. So let's go ahead and add this, and we're going to call it Title. So this is where you're going to start. So this is going to be our title project style. So, and this is going to be different than the theme title style. So what we're going to do is take this, and now we're going to find the font, and we know that it's DIN Pro Condensed Black. So we've given it that. That's great. We're going to take a look at what the size of this title needs to be. And so we're looking at 72 point font, which I think I decided cranks up to 76. Let me see. I have already created a conversion map of sorts. No, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Well, I apparently deleted it, so let's go ahead and take a look at points. Look at this website, which is the pixel converter. So if we go in here and type in 72 points, PT, and convert it to pixels, we got 96 pixels we need there. So we'll go ahead and let's go ahead and put that right in there, 96. Boom. Now we need our color in there, which is that that gray. So this is something that whenever you look at any of our color pickers, you're going to get a color picker dialog box like this. Come down here to more and you'll get the custom color wheel. Right underneath it is a place where you can add your hex codes. And so this is where you can go ahead and type in the hex code that you get from converting a Pantone color into a regular hex code for online. So let's take a look at this again and notice that we need Pantone Cool Gray 11. So let's bring over this fun color converter here. Oh, I don't know if I can just add this one in. Let's just type it in up at the top and just say Pantone Cool Gray 11. And then if we pick any one of these images, we'll find one that'll give us a hex code that's at least probably, fairly close to this gray. So, and again, a lot of these are going to be different. This one says 53565A. So let's go ahead and use that. So down here at the bottom, we say 535, what did I say, 65A. 53565A. Yeah, that looks about right. And even if it's not exact, it's a nice color. It gets us pretty darn close. And one other thing I will point out for you is you get your recent colors that you've used listed here, but then you also have your theme colors readily available for you. So if you ever change your theme colors, they'll change here in these boxes as well. Also, your grayscale will change if you change your grayscale in your theme. So, anyway, so we've got this this gray now in this project style called title. Easy for me to say. And so let's go ahead and apply that to this title screen. If we go up here to styles, now we've got the element selected. So we're not applying this inline. We are applying it to the element. So we're taking a project style and applying it to the element as opposed to double clicking inside and adding it inline to a small portion of the text or one word or all of it, but inline. I like applying things to the element itself. So we're going to go ahead and apply the title to the element. You can see that it's checked. You can also see that it changed. And so we're good to go. So when they were coming up with the idea, right, for putting the title with, actually, one of the things that we need to do is, I keep forgetting, we need to do the caps. So applying brand guidelines. How about something like that? I don't even remember what I had there before. And then down here for the subheading, right, we've already got that one created. We want to use, do we want to use, they don't even tell us what the subtitle should be, right? If we take a look, we go from title to header 1, header 2, header 3, and then the body. So that's really all they give us. So in general, I would go about this by just taking a look at what might look best from a title perspective. I'm probably going to go with this header 1 instead of header 2. Since we're using the title on this, let's go ahead and grab header 1, drop that in there. Yeah, see, I don't know now. even like that. And because we've got this blue background, so now you've got to make some other decisions, right? Do you want this semi-transparent background here with this particular image behind it, working the way it is? I would say probably not. So let's go ahead and say styles. Let's deselect that. And you know what? Let's just leave it right there at adding project styles for now, and not even make it a more traditional subtitle like here, right? We're using this instead of creating our own. That's basically subtitle. We can switch that back. Go back here. Yeah, this one is set to subtitle. So we could create our own subtitle, or we could just use one of those other headers, right? But let's just leave it like this for now. We can probably come back and make some better changes. This is not very readable, probably not a very good design. But like I said, what you're really going for is just a starting point to figure out how to take the brand guidelines that the company has agreed upon and then be able to start working around that. So if we go back to our project styles page, we can see here's our header 1. We already kind of looked at that. We've got our header 2. Header 3 is going to be here, but we haven't as of yet created it or applied it. So we're going to go ahead and create that now. So let's go into Edit Styles, and we're going to take heading 3. I'll change the title here and just call it header 3 to use their nomenclature. So they want to use the Pantone Cool Gray 11, and since we're going with the max points, let's do the max for the font as well. So if we said 16, convert it to pixels, we're looking at 21. We'll just leave it there. Maybe we round it up to 22. Who knows? Let's just try it at 21, see how it looks. And we know we want to do the Roboto medium. That is fantastic. And then we need to go in here. We need to grab that gray that we've already put in. So it's under recent colors. We can just grab that gray because we know that's what we want. So we've got the font, we've got the size of the font, and we've got the font color, and we've called it header 3. That's all we need to do to create that. So we'll click close. Now all we have to do is apply it. Here's our header 3. Boom, there you go. Now, keep in mind that the theme styles for these are still applied. So if we look here at the format, you can still see that H1 is still selected. And for this header 2, we've selected H2. Now, this is going to be important for multiple reasons down the line when you're looking at how this HTML is created and how you're going to be creating accessible content. And we'll look at more about that in detail later. But basically, the H1 and the H2 are not the same as what you're creating here. Whether you're calling these H1 and H2 as well, does not necessarily mean that an accessibility reader or other tool is going to understand that as the H1. So if you understand HTML code, you'll understand the difference between classes and things like that. But just for what we're doing here, just know that that the theme styles are still applied. And it's okay that they're there, and actually probably is what you want. But visually, your project style is going to override any changes that you've made in the project style, is going to override any of the same element changes that may be applied in the theme. So the project styles will always overwrite those theme styles. And if there are no project styles applied, then it just defaults to whatever the theme is currently set to. So what's the reason for doing this? One, like I said before, you're wanting consistency when you're building your products. Working with your marketing department is absolutely critical. And if they've already done all of this design work, then why reinvent the wheel? Again, you don't have to use their standards verbatim, right? Exactly the way they are. But it's an outstanding guideline for you to look at and get a really good idea of how they're doing it. Look at some of their branding materials as well. If they've already created PDFs, if they've already created any sort of marketing collateral, like printed handouts and things like that. Look at how they use images and how they use fonts, and you can use those as a cue and as a starting point for how you're going to be creating your instructional materials and your e-learning courses. You don't want to veer too far from what has already been approved. Otherwise, you're going to have to go back and get more approvals for those changes. And sometimes that can really, really bog down a project and slow things down. So if you want to get things done, utilizing the designs and the decisions that have already been approved is a great way to do that. Also, if you know this is what's been approved, you're probably going to be creating a lot of other instructional content. So this is going to help your reuse, because what you can do is, and if I don't know if you noticed this, but when we were in the edit styles, you can actually copy from another project. You can copy these custom styles from other projects. And you could also utilize this as a standard, as a baseline. And when somebody else creates a brand new project, all of this design work has already been done, and all they have to do is apply these project styles to their content. Or like I said, you can do from another project and just copy them over and have them available in your project. It's a great way to speed up development. It's a great way to stay consistent across your own content. And it's also a great way to just maintain projects over the years as you start building up a big library of content for your customers or for the company that you work for inside of your learning management system. So that was a lot for one video, but I hope it was worth it. Leave a comment or reach out to me directly. Thanks.